EFL football is back and I'm going to be doing my championship predictions on this video. However, bit of a twist, as I don't have a horse in the race, unfortunately Blues were relegated as we all know. I'm not going to be doing a full out championship video. I'm not going to be doing championship predictions either, so sorry for any championship fans. Maybe I'll focus on a few big matches here and there, but I'm not going to be focusing on it as, you know, the longest serving club were Blues in the league. I'm a Blues supporter, and when we got relegated, I kind of thought my interest levels in this league are going to drop a bit. So we are going to do the championship. We're going to do a League One prediction in a similar style to this, and then Premier League we will do full blown. Let me know with predictions. So I'll be doing Premier League for every round as usual. League One, now that Blues are there, I don't know what you want me to do. My plan was to just focus on the Blues game each week, giving a preview of the Blues game, but if you want me to try and do predictions for the whole league, I can. My knowledge on League One will not be great. I haven't really had to look at League One for a very long time because Blues haven't been in and around there, so there will be a lot of teams in the division that I will struggle with. But let me know what you want. For this championship video, we're not going to be bothering with the Bristol City, the Preston kind of positions, you know, mid-table, not a bother to us. We're going to be looking at the top six and the bottom six, figuring out who we think will be going up automatically, who we think will be going down, but just kind of giving a group rather than just saying, yep, these are top two, done, these are bottom three, done, because it's never that straightforward. There are teams that can get into these spots that you don't expect. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we'll start off with the teams that we think will be in the bottom six. And those teams are Pompey, Derby and Oxford. So the three new boys. I know the last two seasons we had Sunderland in their season finishing in the playoffs. Then Ipswich came up and got automatically promoted. I don't see any of these three teams doing anything near that. I think they'll all struggle in this division, to be honest. And whether any of them manage to stay up will be a task, but I've got a feeling that there will be some that stay up. However, it's going to be tight and it's not going to be too easy for them. Portsmouth have the most momentum out of the three. They won the league. They were very, very good and got it done pretty convincingly, quite not early, but you know, they were out of the kind of race quite early because they were already settled as the top team. So it's going to be tight. But the other sides with them, I've got Cardiff. I think they'll struggle this season. They weren't great last season. Blackburn as well and Plymouth both survived on the final day. Blackburn could lose Sammy Schmodix, which would be a big loss to them. Plymouth, they've just appointed Wayne Rooney. He hasn't done a good job anywhere he's been. He was the main reason, and I know you blame the board as well because they put him there, but the amount of points he picked up in his tenure at Blues was an absolute joke, and he is the primary reason why we were relegated. So even though sacking Eustace is probably it, but you know, Rooney came in, stunk the place out, and really turned what looked like could have been a positive season into relegation after a very long stint in the division. So I don't have faith in Plymouth. I'm not sure why they decided to go for him when there's so many candidates about, but who knows, it could work out. So out of these six, the bottom three, I am going for Derby and Oxford, so two newly promoted sides. So I think Portsmouth will survive, and Plymouth, as I've just mentioned, Wayne Rooney I think is a crazy decision, massive risk. I mean, for a side like Plymouth, are you expecting to stay up anyway? Probably not. Are you going to invest a lot of money? Probably not. They've got a few good players, Morgan Whittaker being probably the main one, but it's always going to be tough for Plymouth to build on this. So maybe they're thinking, let's go all out for a risk. It will either pay off and will surprise everyone and Wayne Rooney will finally come good as a manager, or it's not going to work. He'll be sacked by October and we'll just be trying to claw back to get safe. But those are my bottom three. Let me know down below who you think will go down. Oxford, love them to stay up, but it's a side we don't see in this division very often at all. But yeah, I just don't see them managing it. I think they'll put up a fight, but I don't see it. And Derby, I'm not sure they've done enough business at the moment. I think Derby will struggle. So yeah, that's my bottom three. As for the top six, so we've got Burnley and Sheffield United and Luton. So the three sides that went down. I don't think any of them will drop below the bottom six. And then we've got Leeds, who lost the playoff final. I think they'll be there. Middlesbrough and Coventry, two sides that tend to be around the playoffs or in the playoffs, but never quite works out. They were both just outside it last season. Coventry obviously lost that playoff final to Luton a couple of seasons ago, so there's some interesting ties in there if that is the top six. Again, I think Leeds will be there anyway. Leeds should really be going for the title. The three sides that went down, I think Luton and Burnley started to come good towards the end. As soon as Burnley realised they needed to drop James Trafford, they started picking up points. And Luton, they were quite good at home in the season. They just conceded too many goals, but they were quite good at scoring. It was just a bit too open at the back, so they needed to shore things up. Didn't quite work out in the end, but I think those three will quite comfortably be in there. And then, yeah, Coventry, Middlesbrough, maybe outside shouts. I think the other four should be nailed on. Middlesbrough, I think, really should be there as well. They ended the season very well. Latte Lath, brilliant. Isaiah Jones, again, has been good for seasons. And yeah, under Carrick, they've been good under Carrick the whole time. It was just last season they started extremely slowly and that threw their season off. So Coventry's probably the riskiest shout, but I think they'll manage it. Mark Robins is such a great manager. One of the sides that I haven't put here are West Brom. And Carlos Corberán, to me, probably the best manager in the league for what he can get out of a team. But they're not going to be able to spend any money, really, West Brom. It's going to be very low transfer fees if they can, because it's not a transfer embargo, it's just a business plan, but not going to be paying high fees at all for players. And to be honest, I've got a feeling if someone else comes in for Corberán and they're willing to back him, I think he'll walk. I know I said this at the start of last season, but he stayed. And he did a brilliant job with them getting them playoffs. I said if he goes, I think they'll be near the bottom six or something. So he stayed, and then he got them top six. But similar again, I think if he stays, they'll be just outside the playoffs. If he goes, bottom half. So it's going to be interesting. But they're my top six. So now let's split it. And I haven't gone 3 and 3 because I'm not going to guess the winner of the playoffs, because there's a chance that neither of those sides will get to the final of the playoffs. But top two might be a surprise. Leeds, fair enough, everyone's got them. But Luton. Now, Leeds have lost Somerville, who's gone to West Ham. But I think they've got enough. I think they'll learn from last season. They've lost Archie Gray as well, another big one. But I do think that they'll manage to get into the top two this time. I don't think it'll be as strong as it was last season with obviously Leicester, Ipswich and Southampton all flying. So yeah, I think Leeds will get top two. And then Luton, I think they'll get it. And the main reason is, last season they were good in attack, but they just couldn't cope at the back. They kept their squad. They really built a super championship team in the Premier League because I think they expected to go down, and they also thought, well, if we buy these players and we do go down, a lot of them will probably stay, which seems to be what's happening, which makes me think that because they're very good at home, because they're not going to be conceding as many chances in this division, because their defence is one of the better, much better defences in this league, I can see Luton being very, very strong, and I think they'll be top 3, because there's obviously a bit of where I'm not sure. Burnley are the other side I'm kind of fighting with, but I think they'll definitely be in the top 3. I've got a good feeling about that, but for me, I think they just edge it. I think they get top 2. They're very stable. As I say, they've kept the manager, they've kept all the same players, and they're going to be very strong. So yeah, Leeds and Luton for me might be a bit of a shock. Let me know down in the comments what your predictions are for the bottom 3 and for the top 2, and you can do the 4 teams in the playoffs if you want as well. So that's it for my championship predictions. As I said, I may pop up with the odd prediction video in the championship. I'm not going to be covering it too much, but yeah, we will see how these predictions come along during the season. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.